Well, the countdown has officially begun before we lose Fable 5 to usage credits, so we're back and building. This time we're building a mobile app from scratch. Now, it's not that Opus couldn't do this, but I really want to see what Fable can do with actually designing the UI and the user experience of a mobile app. So in this video, we'll cover how to get Fable to output genuinely beautiful mobile app mockups, how I save on token costs by having Fable do only the heavy lifting, and how to get the app fully deployed and running on your phone to have as your own piece of personal software. So without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the build and get started building a mobile app with Fable 5. And the app we are building today is, drumroll, a voice note transcription app, because the world desperately needs one more voice note transcription app. Now, I mean, this is just a piece of personal software that I've been wanting to build for a while now. The problem is Claude is where my work brain lives, and I wanted an app to store my creative thinking, somewhere for these kind of crazy, more out-of-the-box ideas or video ideas or blog posts, and Claude and ChatGPT were just not designed for that. So I want an app where I can store these ideas when I'm on the go, just transcribe my voice, and just be able to think freely and have this separate environment for creative thinking. And I really wanted the user experience to reflect that, but I never really could lock in the UX and the design, so I just kept putting it off and was just waiting for a design to kind of come to me. And when Fable 5 launched, I came across this tweet from Anne Wynn, who is an amazing designer, by the way. Go check out her work. It's bubbly with 3bs.com. But she just got amazing taste, and what she did was she built this kind of like glassmorphism UI for GitHub cards. And this was exactly the design that I had in mind. So that's what we're going to be building, what we're going to be designing today. This will be our inspiration, and we're going to see how well Fable can do in mocking up these designs and building out an entire mobile app. So with that, let's go over to Cursor. I'm just going to open Claude in a terminal here, and we'll just go model Fable 5. So we're all set. Now I have a couple things I've already put into this folder. The first is this prompt.md, which is really functioning as a PRD. This is something that I put together with a separate Claude Opus agent just in brainstorming this. And we're taking this in different steps. But my biggest callouts here are two things. First is this build approach. I'm asking Fable to output the design and the UI first and all of the app screens, which is backwards from, what they typically say in software development. Normally it's architecture first and then the UI goes on top. But for a simple app like this, because the design is the product, I want to react to designs first, lock that in, and only then we can start building out the architecture. And then second thing, because we are at the mercy of usage limits on Fable, I want to be very careful how I use Fable. So I tell it here, your role, you are the orchestrator only. Run yourself on high effort, do not escalate to X high or max, delegate all implementation to Opus subagents, write a model routing section into Claude MD, and then Fable owns the design taste, the orchestration, decomposition, final QA on everything before it comes back to me. So Fable is the true orchestrator agent. And by the way, I got this idea from Theo, who has been sharing some good tips on avoiding rate limits with Fable 5. And this is essentially the same thing. He is routing it to Codex. I'm just routing this to Opus agents. So with that, let's start building. So we'll go back here. I will open up my chat with Fable here, and I'll say, look in the prompt MD, follow all steps, and we'll just go plan mode so we know how to really take this in and start building. All right. So round one, our initial design is apparently done. Let's check it out here on local host. This is purely the design. Oh, open this in a new tab. Interesting. Okay. Friggin' nailed the glassmorphism. I like how I can move this around too. It looks really good behind the butterflies. And just in general, it really got the exact feel I was going for. Like, this is Anne's site and this is ours. We're going to change quite a few designs to not totally copy Anne, but for now, I would say this is a good first pass. And so we have this just very simple loading, tap to record here. And then we have these folders. These are just placeholder right now, but this is the idea. As you record, it'll go into an inbox. Actually, let's see. Testing this record. Is this actually working? Saved inbox? Oh, no, it doesn't work yet. But that's the idea. It goes in inbox, and then you can sort it that way. And then, of course, create new folders. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty slick. Fable, no surprise, did a great job. Next, we'll get into the actual app screen build out. But first, because you're probably thinking to yourself, Simmons, did you really need Fable to do that? So I ran a quick A/B test with Opus 4.8, and it just got done generating this here. So let's actually see how Opus 4.8 did. I haven't seen this yet either, and we can compare the two, but I'd be willing to guess that Fable did a much better job. Here's Opus 4.8's version. Damn, okay, this actually isn't bad. This is pretty good. I was hoping my point would land a little harder. This actually looks great. And it mocked it up like a proper app screen, which I didn't tell it to do, but it did. So here's the difference. I mean, Fable definitely nailed the whole glassmorphism much better. But in terms of the actual app itself, Opus did a pretty good job. Testing? Okay, it doesn't say. That's a nice little animation. We might actually steal some ideas from Opus, but it does feel a little messy and not exactly anything different than when you typically tell AI to do any sort of glassmorphism design, but it's better than I thought. Anyway, I next want to do two things. The first is to go back to Fable and say, I want us to have a rotating carousel of background image options. And what I'm thinking, rather than these butterflies, is doing some sort of art history tie-in where we pull from public domain. I think you can use the Wikimedia Commons API to pull different paintings. And I want to test a few of these. Ideally, it's pointillism or impressionist painters. I just want to test a few of these and see if those look any better as a background image. And maybe the user just has an ability to, in the settings, choose from a few of these. And the second thing we're going to do, because we've introduced a problem here with this HTML that Fable just created, it won't actually carry over into the actual app because the code we're building this in is React Native. React Native doesn't use HTML or CSS at all. So we need to have Fable just extract the design tokens here from this mockup CSS and put it in some sort of shared theme file, and then build every screen against that theme in React Native. So it should carry over pretty well. I realize this is going a little bit backwards, but I wanted to first just lock this in, and I knew that HTML and CSS, it would be easier for Fable to mock this up and for me to react to it than having Fable build in React Native from the start. So all that being said, here's the prompt I am giving Fable. I'm saying target stack is React Native and Expo. The HTML, CSS, glassmorphism screens are the visual spec. For each screen, re-implement this as native Expo components that match the mockup pixel for pixel. We'll just hit enter and have Fable start making these revisions. All right, here's our art history mockup here. We'll go to Seurat. Looking pretty nice. Of course, this is just gonna be cropped to this mobile layout here, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. I had a couple revisions that I just made off camera. There's a couple annoying things, like I didn't like how the folders were stacked. I didn't like this record button. So this record button previously here, I just didn't like the hard line, the way it was designed. So I just said, make it a bit more translucent. And we have this nice little like throbbing record button. We've got these folders here. You can actually click in. I also added this add folder here, just a little pop-up test. Does this work? Yeah, look at that, it's working. And then record, let's see if this records. Allow. Testing, is this actually recording? Okay, not recording yet. Nope, not recording yet. But I mean, we have a pretty good start here. So now we just need to get this over ported into React Native. And in about 30 more minutes, Fable and its team of Opus agents have completed the React Native port over. So here it is, open in iOS Simulator, looking pretty good. There's a little bit, if I'm gonna be nitpicky, of difference in the record button. I like the record button styling of the HTML and CSS mockup that we did, but this is pretty darn good. We have these folders here. Can we actually create these? Test, nice, that's working. Go over to the folders, cool. We've got the folders showing up. Settings, we can change the background, very cool. Oh, there we go. Looks like it's recording. Testing, look at that. Testing the record, pretty good. Wow, look at that. Okay, I like these little sparkle artifacts that it added too. I mean, like the stop button's like not centered. So there's a few little nitpicky things I still need to do. I'm just gonna do that off camera, finish this up, and get this thing deployed. Okay, so here's the latest update. I'm still seeing some things, whatever, not a big deal. I don't know why I can't center this. This icon's just not centered, but everything else is looking good. Testing this. And then it should save to inbox, should go into the inbox now. Yep, look at this. Everything else is good. Testing this. And then I added this AI analysis too. This is something that I actually didn't mention, but was in the PRD. This is a cool feature where it will go through the transcription and then an AI will analyze what the voice note is about. Because when I'm recording voice notes, I'm just rambling and I don't know, I'm not gonna go back into my transcript and look at all my rambles. I wanna see kind of a top line overview of everything that I discussed. So that's the idea here. And then we have next steps as well. So it's analysis, next steps. And then if I wanted to, I could click into the transcript and actually look at it. And then a bonus feature too, I should have described this at the beginning, but this is kind of the whole idea, is having an ability to actually add to this note. So let's see if this works. Testing, adding to this note, just saying something random to add to this note to see if it works. Boom, look at that. Nice little animation that Fable added too. So you can see we've got the original one and then the just now, and then we can collapse this if we'd like. Kind of ridiculous little extra animation there, but looking pretty good. And then I can also chat with the note. So I can actually have a chat bot in here that has all the background of this transcript. I can say, kind of ridiculous, again, animation, that could be fixed. But I can say, what is this? And then it should respond boom, we got a response. So it says, the user was testing whether their mic was working properly. And then I could ask follow-up questions if I'd like. So nice little interactive feature within these notes. That's kind of a killer feature. That is something that you don't see in other, at least that I haven't seen in other transcription apps. This is going to be useful. So I'm going to go back and then have inbox here. And then if we go into folders now, we should have an ability to click into these folders, then click other ones, see the AI analysis of all these. These are nice and organized. We can, of course, create the folder here. I already tested that. That was working. Settings here. So this thing's about ready to go. So the app is now built, and you can see how easy that was, right? We started with an idea, moved it into an HTML and CSS mockup with the app screens, made a few more revisions, ported it over to React Native, a few more revisions, and boom, this thing is looking great. Now, how do we actually get this on our phone to use? There are actually a couple accounts that you're going to need to sign up for if you haven't done this already. The first is Expo. So if you just go to expo.dev, and Expo is going to actually build the iPhone app for us. You can sign up, it's free, and then you'll run what's called EAS login. We will get there shortly. And the second thing we need is the Apple developer program. So you need to go in here, sign in, and cough up $99 to Apple for the yearly subscription. Unfortunately, there's no way around this. And I'm not going to get too in the weeds here on signing up for both of these. I've already done this myself, and there are a bunch of great tutorials on how to set it all up for yourself. I will say though, however, I have plans for a full in-depth mobile app tutorial where I get into all of this and show how to properly deploy to the App Store, including building out a proper app with authentication, databases, all of that. So be on the lookout for that. But for the sake of getting this live quickly, what we're going to do is install this straight onto my device. And to do that, we're just going to head back to Fable and say, I need to run EAS device create. Please run the terminal command for me. Goal is to have this app be usable just for me and not on test flight or being sent to the App Store. And we'll just hit enter, let it run that command. We'll probably have to go through the registration process to get this thing connected, but then in a few more steps, we'll have this thing deployed. Okay, and it looks like the build is ready to fire the moment the device is registered. How do I register? And just a last step was registering this. So I had to CD into the repo, npx eas cli create. I went through, just quickly logged in with my Apple ID and password, and then asked it for a QR code. And now I can just download this via my phone. And just to screen mirror my phone to show you exactly how to do this, we go here, download the provisioning profile, hit continue, should be complete. And then I just need to go to settings, and under settings, after I downloaded that provisioning profile in the last step, this profile downloaded will just show up. Click this, install, and I get this notice, your device is ready to run internal distribution builds. And I just went back to Claude. I said, I just got the notice, your device is ready to run internal distribution builds. And then Claude is running the build itself. All right, and build is apparently done. I just need to open this in a mobile browser. So I'm gonna do that now. And just screen sharing again. Here's the build artifact. Just need to click install, install. The app is creatively named Ideas. Nice one, Claude. And just go to our Ideas app here. And look at that, it's there on my phone. I'm screen mirroring my phone right now. So this will work. Yeah, that off-centered icon's driving me nuts. But, oh, look at this. Ideas would like to access speech recognition. Allow. I don't know how it's gonna work with this mirroring, but okay. Allow. Okay, iPhone microphone is not available. Okay, I need to actually do this on my phone. I promise to you this is working. Look at, hey, testing this this transcription here. Video idea. The 1,000 AI tools that everyone needs. Stop. And then let's see. Reconnect. Should be in the inbox. Boom. Look at that. Let AI analyze it for a second. Great AI analysis. Buried in a quick transcription test is a real content spark. A video roundup of AI tools people actually need. Yes, all 1,000 of them. Next steps, write down a working title and angle for the 1,000 AI tools video concept. And then here's the transcript. I can actually record. Testing the record, still not working. Yeah, it's still not going to add, but it works on my phone. Look at that, boom. So we have a piece of personal software that we built completely from scratch, or rather Fable built, that I am most definitely going to use. I might even have future videos of building this out further into a proper app for people to download, because I kind of like this. This could be useful for people. So that is a demo of building a mobile app with Fable 5. You saw the comparison to Opus, at least in that one test. Opus wasn't that bad. But I think what stood out to me the most was it just gets it. Every time I gave Fable 5 a piece of feedback, it would execute on it. and it wouldn't require rounds and rounds and rounds of revisions like it would with Opus 4.8. So anyway, I hope this inspires you to get out there and build your own piece of personal software, and I'm curious if anyone has any other suggestions on what I should be building with Fable 5. We've only got a few more days before we hit our usage credits, so let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.